Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting. And a question that we get a lot, whether from Onyx people or people in other lighting consoles is, how do I get it so on screen here, I could just go and basically follow somebody around on the stage and have a follow spot, right? How can I do that? Because ultimately you think, okay, computerized control of lighting has come so far, like it's so advanced these days, and lights move, so why can I not just grab some fixtures, like I've grabbed some in the demo file here, and I focused them at a point on stage? Why can I not literally just grab a fader and move it up and down? Or like here, I've got an NXK attached, which this is such an awesome value. We stock them at Learn Stage Lighting Gear, and just what you get for the price is just extraordinary. And I recommend this to anybody if you use Onyx and you sometimes program on a laptop or at home, or even if you're left-handed like me and you're on any console, being able to put this on the left side or the right side if you're into that, like most people. It's just, oh my goodness, whether you use an NX Touch, anything, such a recommended accessory. But regardless, maybe I'm taking my knob here and I grab my pan knob on my NXK, right? And I need to set it in the menu. Always do this with NXKs. By default, it's set to the screen, but I want to use the parameter one. And so say I grab my encoder and I'm like, oh, I'll start tilting them. Oh wait, I'll try to pan them. Let's see if we can get all these lights to follow. And you see, if this person was moving around the stage, like, we've got two of the lights going off into left field over there. It doesn't work, right? Because when you have lights, if you have maybe a single light, you could try to follow them with the encoder wheels or via on screen. But honestly, it's never really going to work great, because the velocity and the time that it takes moving heads in order to start moving, because there is a little bit of delay, there's a little bit of momentum when it stops, and just syncing that control with your hand just typically doesn't actually work that well. And that's why, on the market, there's commercially available follow spot systems like Follow Me, and there's a lot of other ones that allow people to hold a mouse on the screen and follow people, right? And so, the reason these are available and these systems are so popular is because, well, it's really hard to do this out of a lighting console. But I want to show you some ways you could do it that could work. Okay, one which I haven't tested in real life, I meant to do it at a gig recently and I just forgot, is literally having your capture file. And if you have that open and you have the lights selected, in capture, when you right click, you can focus the lights, okay? And if you build this to the exact scale of your space, you could potentially use it as a follow spot. Now you see, the lights kind of jump around as I do this, and that's because they're always focusing to an object, okay? And in this case, that's, it hits the people and then it goes back to the floor. So what I would probably do if I was doing that is, A, take the time to build your venue perfectly to scale. That's the only way you're going to have a chance of this being reasonably accurate, okay? Number two, delete all the people, all the objects on the stage, just make it a flat platform, right? So that, just like when I'm down here, it's like, hey, it's a little jittery, but I can go side to side and hit every spot and nothing jumps around too funky, right? Occasionally, but hey, it's like, honestly, a capture solo license to be able to do this is what? $395. We've got them at Learn Stage Lighting Gear. We'll link to them below. And you could patch in enough fixtures to do your follow spot thing, have a basic stage, and, for not a lot of money, it's not a bad system. And if you bring everything to scale in the model, I think it will work okay. Will it be perfect? No, but that's why there's commercial follow spot solutions that work really well. All right, method number two is this is actually really simple, to use an override type fader with the Cue Blender, okay? So I'm just going to go to a new bank. If you've never used the Cue Blender, you are missing out, okay? Because Cue Blenders allow you to stack multiple cues basically and then fade between them. So the way I would do this, and the way I've done this before, is, I mean, there's a few ways that you can slice this cake. But I'm just going to do a quick version of it where we're going to store the intensity in that Cueblender queue. Often I would store it elsewhere, honestly. And also the color, like the white, is in here. Again, those are kind of programming decisions that could go a variety of ways depending on your end goal. But let's just say here that we go ahead and we turn these on and we move them. And then we go ahead and we store this first playback. We're going to make it an override. And then we take them over here. New focus position, exact opposite side of stage. We go, we record that right there. Okay. And hopefully I got everything on that. We'll find out. We may have to turn tracking off on it. Then I go in here. I turn on the Cueblender. And see. Oh, wait. You can't do tracking. Let me just see. Did everything? No, everything did store. Okay. So you do get here basically, you know, either at the top. Oh, and I had something from Dallas in my programmer queue. So basically, you go all the way down. The queue turns off, so it's where the lights were sitting. Oh, that's because they're being played here. So I'm going to shut that off. Pop back here. Okay. So now what you're going to get when you do this is basically a fade up of intensity to Q1. Some ways to solve this, because it does look funky, is, again, like I said, I would probably put the intensity in another queue. Like, you could put it right next door to it, but just have it so that you can move into place and then bring up the intensity and have it in white. Other options are, you can, with the Cueblenders, if you go to Cuelist values, you can adjust where the cues fade. So basically, instead of fading in from 0 to 50% on this first queue, you could add a queue. So you could do like Q1, nothing, or blank, you know, it starts at nothing. Then the first queue can be in position but off. And just put that at like 1%, right? Or like 5%. And then you would have on in position 1 and on in position 2 as cues 2 and 3. And you would set them probably to that, you know, 15% and 100% or whatever. Play around with it. But what this allows you to do now is basically, you know, do a rough follow spot. Yeah, I do need in Q2, I do need to store the intensity on those units. So we're just going to do that real quick. Record Q2 to merge it. So now they stay on the whole time because Cueblenders don't track. And now, boom, when we go from A to B, the light goes from side to side. If they're in the middle, it's still not great. This does work okay with one fixture, or if you have two fixtures, the closer those fixtures are together, the closer it will be, basically, as you move from side to side. Okay? Number 3 is just build, instead of worrying about following somebody with a fader, which I know feels cool, feels awesome and sexy, and like, ooh, I'm following them with the fader. It's like, you know, it's like a follow spot. Like, there's a billion reasons, as we've shown here so far, why that doesn't actually work that well in reality. So let's now go ahead and actually go, okay, how in the world do we, what's the way to actually make this like the most accurate so we can actually get the person? And for that, I like to go to my playback buttons. Okay, check this out. So if I grab my 4 fixtures, and I'm just going to turn them off here, and I'm going to turn on the intensity just from this queue. Again, you could manage intensity separately. You could put it in the queues. But for the sake of this example, I'm just going to go grab these 4 lights, and then I'm just going to build a grid, okay, of every possible follow spot position. So say they're occasionally back here, right? I would make these cue lists, and if you're using other cue lists with these fixtures in your show, I would set the priority of the cue list up higher so that the follow spot always triggers over other stuff, and it doesn't get knocked out. It doesn't get overridden by other stuff happening. Okay, and so let's just say, for the sake of a simple example, we just do 6. Okay, and depending on the size, dimensions of your stage, where the players go, you could have a lot of cues here. But for the sake of this, we're just going to go like this. And of course, I'm using house directions, not stage directions. You label it however you want. So people in the comments could tell me whatever they want to tell me. And so you see here, this only took a minute. Even if I was focusing with the encoder wheels normally, like, it's not difficult. Okay. And of course, if you're doing a show that's going to be in multiple venues, build these into presets, update the presets, build the presets into cues. Okay. So now it's just as simple as going, okay, here. I'd probably set the fade time faster, but wherever I need to bring that spotlight at a time in my show, whenever that need comes up, I just do it here. You could get more fancy, for example, and set a first cue that is off, that turns the light off, then a light that brings it into position, then a cue that turns it on, and have them follow automatically using the follow command. The issue there would be if the lights don't move before you need them to come up, you'd have to bring them up manually, but it would be the cleanest looking, having a little move in black action going on there. And then the other thing is, okay, how do you release it when it's done? Well, I could hold the release key. The Onyx key doesn't have one. I could hit release here and release it. The way I like to do it more often is just like, look, I've got these cue lists in numbered order, 24 through 29. I'm just going to record a blank cue right here. Call it follow spot off. Select it. Go into my cue list values. Edit mode. Add a macro. And that macro is going to release cue lists. And what do we say? 24 through 29. Time default, time whatever. And you see you have these options here. This is awesome. To do dimmer first. So that means intensity shuts off first. So say we do just a 2-second dim first. Apply. Okay. So now we're here, we're bopping around. We're playing these cues, right? Whichever one we want to play. Okay. And then we're ready to shut off the follow spot. We hit this one. And as you can see, they went. Oh, now, they did not actually subtract the intensity because we didn't store intensity into these cues. We had it elsewhere. But if you stored intensity in those cues and then you fire this cue, it's going to go ahead and it looks like, oh, it's just the intensity first, I think it's waiting on. Yeah. And then you fire this cue, they would fade out first, and then they would move to wherever they're supposed to go in some other cue. Awesome. I hope you learned a lot from this video today. Just 3 ways really to make a follow spot in not that much time in Onyx. It's not quite as simple as it may seem, but it can be reliable and not have to bring in one of those external follow spot systems. If your needs are relatively simple. Of course, if you're doing a professional grade touring show, you should go get something like Follow Me, like Black Tracks, whatever you get. You know, those are all great options, and we can help you learn stage lighting gear. But for a lot of people, that level of budget doesn't, and even just capability isn't necessary in the least. So, if that all sounds good, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe here. And if you're in the US and you need any Onyx gear, Learn Stage Lighting Gear is your place. We want to help you get the stuff you need, and we want to quote you a personalized price. So head over to Learn Stage Lighting Gear, add some stuff to your cart, add that to your quote, send us a quote request. We'll shoot you back a quote. We would love to help you get the Onyx gear we need because we are your trusted Onyx source, and we're trying to become the #1 Onyx dealer in America. Can you help us? We'd love it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.